Salutations, crustaceans. I'm Lobster, and this is my 10th video. So I wanted to do something a little bit special for my 10th video. I've hit almost 80 subscribers and almost 2,000 views in the past 3 weeks, and it's been really cool to get that great of a response. I really wanted to thank everyone for the support, especially during this crazy time, and I really look forward to making a lot more great videos for you guys. So without further ado, today we're looking at a new Rickenbacker. Nani? That's right. A new Rickenbacker model. It's the 4003 S/5. Let's take a look. So this is the Rickenbacker 4003 S/5 5-string bass. So this is a new model from Rickenbacker, unveiled at the Winter NAMM show in 2018. And this is a new Rick in the truest sense of the word. This bass features newly designed single coil pickups in this triangular Dorito or pizza shape pattern right here. So this bass has an MSRP of $2,500, but can often be found new for between $1,500 to $2,000 depending on the finish and where you look. Now, what's kind of funny about Rickenbacker as a company is they really do a bad job at letting people know when they have a new bass. Besides having this bass at the Winter NAMM show in 2018, they haven't updated their website until about a month ago. So if you go to the Wayback Machine and look at December 2019 or even early January, you'll see that this bass isn't even listed on their website. So if you go to their website now though, they do have a product page for it, but this is what you see. Yep, that's a broken image link right there. So, Rickenbacker, I love you, but you need to hire a new web guy. So this bass is geared to be a true 5-string Rick. And by true 5-stringer, I mean not just slapping on an extra tuner, popping on a different bridge, and calling it a day. This thing was designed from the ground up to be a 5-string. It has a thicker neck, redesigned pickups, and much wider string spacing than what you normally find on a 5-string Rick. I know they've been working on evolving their Rickenbacker 4001 and 3 series over its lifetime, making subtle tweaks here and there, some good, some bad. But I feel like with this bass they really went back to the drawing board. Now let's take a look at the specs. Just like most other Ricks, this bass has a maple body and a maple neck through neck. This also features a 20 fret rosewood fingerboard, though I do wish they included the extra fret, which they never have done, and I just wish we could get that E octave up there, but the neck also features dual single-action truss rods, which have been a Rickenbacker staple for as long as I can remember. So unlike the classic Rickenbacker 4003s, this bass does not have the shark fin inlays or the binding on the neck or body. As I alluded to previously, Rickenbacker went back to the drawing board with this bass and redesigned these brand new pickups to accommodate the wider string spacing as well as to get the most out of the B string. It's funny, the pickups are designed to look like the shark fin inlays, the same inlays that are missing from the bass. So this bass is also available in Jet Glow, Fire Glow, Maple Glow, as well as the walnut finish, similar to that of my 4003 SW behind me. In regards to the controls, this bass is using the same tried and true layout that's been present in most Rickenbackers for the past forever. You have 2 volumes and 2 tones, and a pickup selector switch. What's new on this bass, as well as all other 4003s, going back a few years now, is the addition of a vintage tone control, giving it a more classic Rick tone. With the vintage tone control disabled, this bass has a bit more of a modern sound with a beefier low end, though it does still have that signature single coil growl. Now another interesting thing about this bass is the bridge. Rickenbacker has clung to the classic design from the 4001 and 4003 for a really long time. With this bass, however, they're using a Schaller 3D bridge, which is perfectly suited for the wider string spacing. And the last thing about the specs, unlike the standard 4003, the 4003S models, both the 5-string and the 4-string, do not come with the stereo Ricco sound, which is a signature of the 4003s. Before we check out how she sounds, I'm going to need you to pinch that like button. That way my hand can turn back to normal. Thanks. You hear that? That's one of the Rickenbacker trademarks, single coil hum. Every Rick I've played always has it, and especially in my office where I have 2 computers and a bunch of lights, this thing is gonna hum a little bit. That being said, when it's not humming and it's playing good. Right now, I have everything set to max, and out of the box, it sounds pretty good. It sounds like a more aggressive P bass. Now, one thing about Rickenbackers is that the 2 pickups are very distinct in their tone. So on most modern basses with 2 pickups, you usually have 2 jazz pickups, 2 soap bars, or a PJ combo. And you usually can expect what sounds you're going to get out of each pickup. With this Rick though, it's a completely different story, as with any Rick, and you can combine the 2 to make a lot of really great sounds. Let's look at the neck pickup first. The neck pickup on this bass sounds really nice and fat. And the tone control for the neck pickup really dials back that treble and gives it an even fatter tone. Next is the bridge pickup, which is responsible for that signature Rick growl. And then when we dial back the tone of the bridge pickup, it gets fatter as well. Now this Rick is packing a special trick up its sleeve. We have a vintage tone control. So to enable the vintage tone control, you pull out the treble tone knob, and that's it. Now let's try that with the vintage tone control off. The vintage tone control is trying to emulate that old school clangy Rick sound made famous by the likes of Chris Squire and Geddy Lee. And I think it does a pretty okay job. Now in my opinion, to get that real Rick tone out of this bass, you gotta dial back the neck pickup a little bit, enable the vintage tone control, and enjoy. This is what it sounds like. Now, one thing that's different about this Rick versus older 5-string Ricks is the B string. The B string on this just sounds great. It could have a little bit more definition, but keep in mind, this isn't even a 34-inch scale neck. So how's the slap tone? I think it sounds pretty good. Honestly, I think it's the best sounding slap Rick that I've ever played. Now, how does this bass compare to our reference Fender Precision bass, as well as the 4003 SW right behind me? Let's take a look. Keep in mind, I have flats on this Rick, so it's not going to be apples to apples. I think the new pickups have a little bit more output than these old style pickups, but both sound great. Now let's take a look at the precision. Well, there we have it. The Ricks definitely sound very different to this precision bass, and that's to be expected. So this bass takes a lot of old school styling cues from the original Rickenbacker 4001 and 4003. The headstock shape, body shape, pickguard shape, and control layout are all very similar to the old school Ricks. Some of the new designs on this bass include the pickups, the sleeker body shape where they kind of round it out a little bit, and the neck. This particular model does come in this beautiful matte black, but buyer beware. The matte black finish is very prone to scratching, dings, and damage, and you have to take extra good care of it. Personally, I wish I went with the walnut finish, like my Rickenbacker 4003 4-string. So one thing I have to knock Rickenbacker for is the omission of a lot of features that are present on the regular 4003, most notably the stereo Ricco sound jack and the shark fin inlays. So how am I going to rate this bass? 4 claws. This bass has excellent construction and has a great combination of parts and features, but is lacking a lot of things that the standard 4003 has, and I'm not exactly sure why they omitted those things. I also don't think they can justify the price point when omitting a lot of those features. I also wish Rickenbacker did a better job of advertising their instruments. I really had no idea this came out, and this has been out for almost 2 years now. But overall, great job, Rickenbacker. I think this is a great instrument and a lot of people are going to be very happy with this, especially 5-string players. Well, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe and let me know what you think about the Rickenbacker 4003 S/5 5-string bass. Also let me know what bass you want to see in the next review. Big shout out to Dom at Third Floor Guitars for setting up this bass, and as always, until we groove again.